the self-catering sector in Scotland. We've got 1,700 members, 70% of which are women, 60% of which are over 55, 55% of which operate just one property. We are not landlords, we do not have hundreds and hundreds of properties. We are independent indigenous businesses that provide the backbone to tourism in Scotland. So today I'm going to bring you a stark warning. Scotland has become the test case for how to regulate our sector badly. And if the island isn't very, very careful, they're going to come straight after us. Let's start with what's often forgotten. In Scotland, short-term lets, as we call it, I hate that expression, we're self-catering. Short-term lets, because you don't go and stay in a short-term let, do you? You go and stay in a really nice little cottage in the country, don't you? But they've named us short-term lets so we seem ugly and horrid. So short-term lets, entire properties, make up just 0.8% of the housing stock in Scotland. There are 3.4% of empty properties in Scotland. That's almost 4 times as many. And yet we generate £1 billion to the Scottish economy annually and 30,000 jobs. A typical 2-bedroom flat generates £50,000 annually compared to £14,000 generated by a residential property. In Ireland, properties, short-term rentals contribute €1 billion to the economy and support 14,000 jobs, most outside urban centres. Jim has written an amazing paper on the economic contribution of the self-catering sector in Scotland. Please read it. It's very important. Thank you, Jim. Also, as you heard earlier, the ESRI has also published research to show that our sector does not impact on housing stock. That is the reality, that is the data. Even if people don't like it, these are facts. This isn't scaremongering, these are facts. And it's not ideology. Our sector is being impacted by ideology, not data. Our sector is not marginal, it is vital to the tourism infrastructure. In 2022, the Scottish Government introduced licensing. They said it was because we needed basic health and safety, even though that regulation already existed. But what we got was dysfunction, and it hasn't worked. What we have got is the fact that it hasn't ameliorated the housing crisis, it has not ameliorated health and safety, it has done nothing but penalise legitimate indigenous SME businesses across Scotland. We've got 32 different local authorities doing 32 different things, policies that are still unlawful in many cases. We've taken Edinburgh Council to court twice, and they lost. Of course they lost. And we've challenged another 2 local authorities, and they've lost again. So the fact is, their policies are unlawful. They don't have a policy objective that's actually underpinned by any kind of data or real reasoning. They are just grasping at straws to do something about the housing crisis. In Edinburgh, we are now charging with maladministration and extortion. They love us. But bearing in mind that the biggest problem that we've got right now is planning. And we talked earlier about planning. And that brilliant introduction that you gave earlier about the fact that they're going to ban short-term lets. Who has done the demand analysis? Who says that we don't need short-term lets anymore? It's not just tourists, it's people going on business. It's me coming to live in Edinburgh for a week. I don't want to stay in the Premier Inn for a week. I want to stay somewhere where I can cook, I can clean, I can have space. It's not just business travellers, it's workers. It's people that are coming up to relocate to Scotland or Ireland, wherever. It's people on hospital trips, it's people that have been displaced because of fire and flood. There are so many reasons why we need this type of accommodation. It's not just stag parties. So planning permission is one of the biggest problems. You mentioned quite right that if you've got planning permission, they can't take that away. Ooh, they wish they could, don't they? But they can't. And the fact is that you also mentioned that a lot of people don't have the correct planning permission. I'm afraid that's just not the case. There has never been a need for planning permission unless there was a material change of use. 5 years ago, there wasn't a material change of use. In 2025, that very same operation, that very same property is a material change of use. And yet planning hasn't changed. So what's occurring here? This is just ideologically driven, politically driven narrative that has completely changed the face of our sector. And it is a huge, huge threat. Ireland's plan, you'll be interested to hear, is contrary to EU regulations. So they might find that 2026 doesn't actually happen because it's unlawful. And the EU is acutely aware of this. They've already had their knuckles wrapped once, they're about to have it wrapped again. And I'm working with the European Holiday Home Association to support my sector in Ireland as well on that basis. We, the STA and I, have called for a new change of use class order, which would separate residential properties, self-catering properties, and second homes, because don't forget, second homes are a completely different thing. They don't create any economic benefit to our economies or communities. But what we're finding is that when people leave the sector, either forcibly or because they just simply have had enough, they're leaving them lying empty as second homes. It's a total own goal. So the number of second homes is going up, number of economically active self-catering units is going down, and nobody's happy. And don't forget, when these properties are being taken away with planning permission, you're taking it away, you're not allowed to do it anymore. That is contravening Article 1, Protocol 1 of the Human Rights Act. And this will end up in court. You cannot take away people's livelihoods. And it's a livelihood. I've been a self-caterer for 22 years. I'm not a terrible landlord. I've been generating thousands and thousands of pounds to really, really happy guests for 22 years. You can't shut me down. And by the way, it wouldn't be affordable for the locals anyway. So, on top of that, you've got licensing, you've got planning, now we've got a whole bunch of other stuff. The UK government has abolished the Furnished Holiday Let taxation regime. You've got changes in non-domestic rates, so don't get me started about that, that's another matter entirely. They're kicking people off non-domestic rates because of policy process failing. It's a complete shambles. We've got backdated council tax bills. One of my members has got just had a